same type of punch they throw. And
Right.
you so nice to people in these situations. It's business.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I don't have a problem cutting people. I cut any job I left. I cut the guy that was trying to do me dirty.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Oh.
That's a good topic.
Come on in, y'all.
Saturday mornings, I'm tuned in. Listening to Tishawn, she be going in. Black queen for us black kings. We can learn a thing or two when we're locked in. One of the few places we can be heard. Man, I rocks with her, that's my word. The show is enlightening, engagement always enticing. I always come with an open mind, I'm never frightened. I'm guaranteed to walk away with minerals. Now that I'm thinking everything else is minuscule. We're the fools who don't protect black women. No argument, disrespect, and that's it, y'all. Please come in peace when you call in. Cause the friends ain't no slouch, fair warning. You've got mail messages from him. Y'all better listen if you wanna win. Wanna win in life, y'all. You wanna win in life. Tune in to Tashawn and Friends. You've got mail messages from him. Yeah. You've got mail messages from him. 10 a.m. to noon Saturdays. Tune in. Yeah. You've got mail messages from him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Oh man, this is super
Good
dope.
morning. Good morning, you guys.
Yeah.
How's
If
everybody?
you got mail messages from him with
love it.
Tashawn and Friends. I am Tashawn. I
I'm
got my
friend.
friends. Got my friends. Farmer Wayne in the building.
Good morning, good people. Good morning.
Hey, Johnny Prince on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
We got motivational K out there working. I don't know where Ghost and the Green Machine are, but they part of the friends.
Oh, they got a green machine right there. Look at
the
that.
Green Machine. The Green Machine popping his head in.
Oh man.
How y'all doing out there?
What up, man?
How y'all do?
Good.
Y'all good? Y'all good? What's going on,
We're
big
good.
black men? What's
Can't
going on?
complain. We're good this morning. Little rain, we needed it. Over here on the farm, we threw some winter seed out. So we are happy that the rain is gonna push that seed down closer to the earth,
No doubt.
and get us some forage to graze come this winter.
Really? Okay, so this is good time for you.
Yeah, whenever it's raining and it's not like storming constantly, we're not getting 5, 6 inches at a time. This type of rain, we'll take it all day. I'm
Now,
a grass grower.
yeah, because I remember last year it was kind of was it a dry season or something was wrong last year?
Year before last, it was dry,
Oh,
very dry. We were buying hay. I think I was trying to get hay all the way up in New Jersey.
yeah,
Oh,
So it was
so
bad.
difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And with all the moves going on, I'm downsizing here anyway, just to get ready to make moves. So it's easier to graze cows when you got a few of them, not as many as we used to.
Okay, gotcha. And you lost a friend. Yeah,
oh man.
Oh my
my
goodness.
heart is like literally. I'm so sorry.
Yo, but this dog though. This is him.
Yeah.
So for everybody who follows the farm, pretty much my assistant manager on the farm is a dog named Sir.
Yeah.
Sir is a dog that I bred personally. He was a Press Canario, line bred to do a specific role for us.
Okay.
So he's a bit of a herder, a pusher, a guard dog, a presence on the farm in terms of people wanting to come here,
Mm-hmm.
deterring like coyotes, wild animals. If it comes and not doesn't belong, he's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
But then he can still, right after he kills it, roll over and you can pet his belly. He's just a great dog. Well, about 4 or 5 days before he passed,
Mm-hmm.
Charmaine told me that he threw up blood.
Oh.
And I was like, okay,
Wow.
that's odd, but let's see if there's any other symptoms. Because, we don't just run
Yeah.
to the vet.
Right.
And there were no other issues. He's
Right.
getting older, so he's not eating as much.
Okay.
And he broke out of his crate.
Mm-hmm.
He sleeps in at night. and walked around, and I found him in the grass, just dead,
Oh,
just like he went to sleep.
really?
So I don't know if he got out and ate some poison, and
Okay.
everybody was like, "Well, did you take him?" I was like, "Man, I'm not doing all that. My man is dead.
Yeah.
I built a funeral pyre for him. I burned him up.
Oh,
I was like, I'm not carrying him for autopsy and all that."
yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but it sucked.
I know.
Sucks. But that's him. So my wife, Charmaine, called him an a-hole. He's the only dog that I've ever owned who was a practical joker.
Really?
Man.
Yeah, and how he got his name. His name is really, excuse me, sir,
Uh,
because he
sir,
was an inappropriate sniffer.
Oh.
he was one of them
So,
dogs.
right. But he was hardcore with it. And like he would wait, and you'd be like, like you're gonna put gas in the lawnmower, and
Mm.
he'd put his whole head in your behind. And you'd be
Uh,
like, excuse me, sir, do you mind, when he's a puppy? And then when he started, like we had sheep and goats, and he would be
uh,
all in the butts of everything, the goats, the
oh,
pigs. And we would always be like, because we let the animals name themselves.
yeah.
And we would be like, excuse me, sir, do, do you mind? And then my wife was like, I think that's his name. Excuse me, sir. We
Is it?
started calling him sir.
Oh man. Terreno said, wow, must have been poison because it happened to his dog. Oh,
Yeah. And he was bleeding out of his mouth and his
really?
ears and eye. Yeah. So, and his anus, I knew it was a poison, or he had something like a quick acting pancreatic cancer or something that just took him out. Because he was, the night before, me and him was chilling,
Really? Really?
resting a little bit, out in the front yard.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
yeah.
I hate that. I'm so sorry. I never thought I would get attached to dogs. I wasn't a dog lover. I was afraid of dogs until we over time grew up with my niece's dog and her first little dog, Lucy Lou.
Mm.
And when she got
Lucy Lou.
her name was Lucy Lou, and she was a Pekingese, the little
Oh yeah. Little
and
Asian dog. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and she got sick and she was already in the last stages of cancer, but we didn't know.
Right.
I guess because if they don't have babies,
Mhm.
they develop some type of
Right.
something, and I didn't know. So the surgery and whatnot was almost like $1,200-$1,300. Like it was up there for her to have the surgery, and it still wasn't guaranteed that she would make it. I cried when that dog died.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
cried. I never thought that I would be attached to a dog. But me and Lucy Lou that's when I was going through my divorce. So she had become my
Right.
friend, like literally,
Yeah.
and then
Comfort.
yeah, it was the
Yeah.
comfort. And I lost it. Like I was at the vet, I was crying and and I didn't really know people were attached to their pets. Cause even in the
Oh man.
vet, I
Yeah.
was watching people and I'm looking, people were like crying
Yeah.
and then it happened to me. I was like, oh wow. So we have our little sister Cupcake, and Cupcake is my heart too. So
Mhm.
I understand now
Me too.
pet parents. I really do. So my heart
Yeah.
goes out to them.
I now respect. I didn't really understand the magnitude of a relationship between an animal and a human
Yeah.
until
yeah.
I attached myself to
Really,
three old English bulldogs. My
Really?
cousins.
Oh.
I watched 3 of them die.
Really?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I boo-hooed.
really?
I was like, why am I for like? Oh, these are my like. We sat out there, and,
Yeah.
and what's crazy is the last 2
Mm-hmm.
they went to the vet. One
Okay.
JoJo, 80-pound bulldog, he went to the vet.
Yeah.
They paid $600-700, and 4 days later he dead.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was crazy. Me and we like I didn't understand the relationship until I was like, wow, it's just like they
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
like how was your day?
Yeah.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And I was sitting
I-
talk if I'm talking to another human.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a dog.
Yeah.
yeah. But they understand. So I had two dogs throughout my growing up all the way to I was 30. 2 dogs.
Mm.
Okay.
One of them's name is Chip, and the guy, the
Yeah.
the guy on the street that bred boxes bred it. He's like, this dog reminds me of you, and he nicknamed the dog Chip, and he was gonna sell it But he never sold it. He gave it to me. I might have been in fifth grade.
Okay.
I'm in college,
Uh-huh.
and I drive home, and usually the first person to greet me was Chip.
Okay.
Now he's older, and I hadn't been home for a year,
Okay.
but I'm expecting to see him waddle out or bark when I pull up.
Right.
He don't bark, so I go in the house, and he's not at the door. So I wait. It's 2, 3 in the morning. I get up the next morning, and I'm sitting there, and I'm asking my parents. I was like, "So where's Chip?" And my mom looks like, "Oh shoot, we forgot to tell him."
Mm.
Oh
And I
man.
Oh.
was like, "So what happened?" They were like, "Yeah, we put him down." I was like, "When? How?" They were like, well, "Last year." I was like,
Mm.
if it weren't my parents, I'd probably be like, "You bastards." But I was hurt, and they was like, "Yeah, he just was suffering, man. He's old." And
Yeah.
then the other dog, right after I graduated, my senior year, Charmaine got a dog from her cousin, a Rottweiler, and shipped it to me. And I was like, I don't want a dog. I'm living La Vida Loca. I don't want a dog. So I end up getting this dog, and I fall in love with the dog. And we get married. I think Jakai might be 4 or 5 years old. I had the dog. He's old. He had been sick, and I knew he was going to pass. So I'm calling the vet, trying to get him to the vet, and he dies in my arms.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
takes that that
Wow.
last breath,
Yeah, that's
and
what Lucy Lou do. Yeah.
Mm.
I fall down. You would have thought it was a scene right out of Central Cast, and I hit my knees. I got the dog in my arms. I'm boo-hooing. My head's back. And my son comes over and he's like, "What's he's 5 or 6, so he can't really comprehend what's going on."
Right.
He's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Tucson is gone. He's gone." He was like, "No, Daddy, he's right here. He's
Oh wow.
right here in front of you." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man," but that one, I boo-hooed like it, I keep all my dogs collars.
Okay.
So for years, you get over it because you're thinking about. I get into dog breeding, and I got
Yeah.
like 15 dogs now, and I'm doing all this business with dogs. And I walk by that collar,
Uh-huh.
and I'm trying to get up the steps, and I'm like,
Mm.
and my wife would be like, "You saw the collar?" I was like, "Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm gonna be all
Right.
right. Just let me, just, just give me a second. Let me breathe, and I'll
Right.
be all right." Yeah, man,
Yeah,
it'll hit you, man.
I just didn't think it could happen. Like me and Lucy Lou, I was like, I watched her take that last breath. Like you could see the slow panting, and I kept praying. I was like, Lord, please, Jesus. Like I opened my mouth to
Yeah,
23rd. So like I was literally, I couldn't take it. And I was just like, oh wow. But when she took that last breath and I literally held her in my arms and
yeah.
I lost it. Like you said, I just really did not expect that, like to have
And
this
it
relationship with this
and it
dog.
runs the gamut. Like I had a
Yeah.
dog. I bred a dog when I first moved out here to a wild dog. Like I knew there was a
Okay.
wild dog in Decatur that had lived there for like 8 years that I knew was hunting, doing everything, and I wanted that for my farm.
Yeah.
So I tied my dog out in heat, and he bred her, and I
Okay.
got puppies, and they was like wolves,
Really.
and I had to put one of them down,
Wow.
and didn't have the slightest remorse in doing it because it needed to be done.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but when they mama died, the Gitana, and
Yeah.
I got her in 2000, so she died after we were here for a few years.
Okay.
That one was hard because the vet was like, "Yeah, there's nothing we can do. Just take her home."
Yeah.
And the craziest and funny story, she laid down in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife was like, "I think she passed." I was like, "All right." So I go out there, and she's old, so she got like cataracts, glassy eye. I'm being overly dramatic. I lay down in the grass with her. I'm crying. I was like, "I can't believe you go. You did a lot for me." And then she picks her head up and scared the shit out of me. So I was laughing, but I was like, "Oh man." I was like, "Let me stop being so dramatic." But
Right.
that dog allowed us to do what we do on the farm. That dog single-handedly, Gitana, single-handedly allowed us to do. And she's the line that I bred to get to Sir. So
Oh.
Sir is the last of literally, this is 2020,
Mm-hmm.
of a 20-year process to get to him
Wow.
Wow.
of breeding. And I just Charmaine was like, "What are you gonna do?" Because he just had puppies. He got
Okay.
puppies around the corner,
Okay.
and she was like, "You gonna get one of the puppies?" And I was like, "I can't do it."
Oh.
I was like, "I got to go a whole different direction. I can't." I
Okay.
said, "I'm done with," and I'm not even doing working dogs anymore. I just need a house dog. I need a dog that can work. Like if I want to go pig hunting, it can go. If I
Yeah.
start, we've been doing these hikes now. We're doing 8 miles. We're doing like 30 miles a week, and 8 miles, 10 miles on Sundays. I just need a dog that can do that. But man, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's you lose. It's like losing your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Felder said, "What type of farming the gentleman speaking of?" This is Farmer
Ah,
Wayne. Farmer Wayne, tell him what kind of farming you do.
all right. That's Mr. Felder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, I own and operate Swanson Family Farm. We're a sustainable farm. We raise grass-fed beef, lamb, pork, and a smidge of honey. Honey's like my hobby. But basically, I'm a grass farmer. It's my job to get the grass right so that the animals can be grass-fed only. We do a little bit of hay, and like this time of year, we do a little bit of what we call a percent feed. And we give them a little bit of feed. It's more like a treat just to keep them nice and tame. Because once the grass starts drying out and the next grass is coming up, they're gonna see the neighbor's yard as lush. You know, they said the grass is always greener. So
Right.
we give them a little bit. We give them a little bit of percent feed to go. And Dexter just asked a question. Dex,
Man, you're
I'm
not.
gonna get me a Catahoula leopard dog, and I was down at the property that we're working on. They didn't sent me y'all to a fifth person now to talk to about this property, about where we at. So
Really?
we can get all this ironed out. We're good. But yeah, I'm going hog hunting as soon as I get that property. I'm gonna put a trap out there. So bring your 22 for this one.
Oh man.
22.
22 wrong rifle. We just gonna pop them, lay some pigs down, and then the smart ones will hunt. We'll trap the other ones, then we'll hunt the rest.
For the pig. I saw you doing the
Woo!
chicken.
Bring the 22.
The
Yeah. I
chicken.
got
I couldn't even finish watching that. You didn't do a video, did you?
I'm doing a video, so I'm gonna edit it this weekend.
I was like, no,
Oh, wow.
not the chicken. But then it's like, oh yes, I love the chicken because y'all know
Yeah,
I'm addicted to
they were
chicken.
beautiful. They
That,
turned out beautiful. So what happens when you process your own birds? You're supposed to process them at 8 weeks.
mm-hmm.
But we have been busy doing a bunch of stuff, so we didn't process them, and it got to the point that they became like the size of small turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I was wondering, like that looked like a small little turkey. The one,
Yeah,
I was like, oh wow, that's a fat chicken.
yeah. So they got big, but then again, we feed them in the morning, and then all day they're out eating grasshoppers and eating grass and doing everything. And it was neat to see, like you get to know the personalities of them and what they like. The two or three animals that always ate grass, their fat was very yellow.
Mm-hmm.
They were smaller animal,
Mm-hmm.
but a little more proportioned, like a bulldog kind of. They were better. They were more shapely. And then the other animals were, it was just a good experience. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna fry up the livers and make some chicken livers and eggs when I get off the.
You know,
the
when I saw that chicken, I was like, oh Lord, the chicken. But then,
yeah.
like, let me go order me some wings.
But the neat thing was, if you follow my page, one of the hens was what we call egg bound,
Uh-huh.
and she had a bunch of eggs in her that did not have a shell.
Oh wow.
So I was able to pull them out and really do a video of that.
I need to order some meat, some chicken. I need that grass fed because I've
Yeah,
been.
you can't order chicken.
I know.
I mean, you could, but that's a whole nother price point. I don't even do it publicly. It's offensive to people.
I need to order some grass fed chicken.
To Sean, you know, it's crazy. The irony of that statement. Why did it have to happen to the chicken?
I know.
But then he's like, but wait a minute.
I did.
I got a taste for wings right
I
now.
did. I literally did. And it was funny because Chef, he always catches me eating. That's why I'd be knowing I'm wrong, right? Because I'm not supposed to be eating fast food, right?
Yeah.
Since the
Yeah.
surgery, I'm not
Nobody
supposed
should.
right.
No,
And so
as a treat,
what I did,
not as dinner.
right. And so he catches me every time. Like, okay, he gone. Let me go around here and get me something, right? This Negro calls FaceTimes, man. He was like, and so literally, I was like a big kid. He said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm just chilling, working on some stuff, for the show." He said, "You eating, ain't you?" I said, "Oh,
Whatever do you mean?
He said, "You lying." He said, "You got some chicken, don't you?" I said, I ain't got no chicken. I said, "Man, I'm watching Farmer Wayne do this chicken thing, right?" But I had literally just ordered.
You had your mouth full, didn't you?
I literally had just ordered some wings after watching that. Like,
Well,
he was like, he was like, "Let me see the couch." So I was like, he said, "Man, you and that chicken." But he even told my doctor, he said, "I ain't never met nobody who's addicted to chicken." So yeah, I'm getting back to it. I'm gonna do right. But
Farmer Wayne, you ever been attached to chickens?
yeah,
Yeah.
like like the personality of them.
Yeah.
There's meat birds, and then there's birds that do different jobs for us on the farm. So I have some chickens that we absolutely love. They're characters.
And you keep them?
Yeah, we keep them. Yeah.
So
the birds for meat, I don't know what it is about animals that are for meat. They just not the sharpest.
I'm sorry.
What?
They're not really designed. They're not the brightest animals. So they don't really have like I guess God did that on purpose. So you don't really
get attached.
Right.
That's angry.
Angry
birds.
Right. So the chickens, one of the chickens is funny. But right now we got a new rooster and we call him Pepe Le Pew because because of how he chases the girls around and they be trying to get away like the cartoon. He be singing that song to him.
You don't mess with Pepe.
Pepe is there to protect the girls, and as a replacement for he's a side guy to our main rooster. And their jobs is to
I gotta get this.
What?
I thought you were about to say the side chick, but I forgot the rooster is the male.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, he is. He's like, it's crazy to watch him. I'm on video, so he'll walk up to the rooster, the main guy, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not messing with the girl. I'm not messing with him." And he'll do like these little left hand flicks with his feather, and you can see one of the other chicks be like, "Yeah, but go around the corner. Go around the corner. He'll go around the corner." Smash real quick. She'll come back like nothing happened, and it's hilarious to watch.
Chicken pimp.
Proudly.
Right. He already got the dress on. He already got the red look. He the chicken pimp.
Right, proudly. But it's hilarious to watch. We love it's a great thing to watch.
What kind of sound?
That would be a funny sitcom right there.
Oh my goodness.
So it is hilarious.
I gotta record that one time.
I might do it if it's raining, so they're gonna be inside today.
So
but the next Sunday.
So they mate with he just go to chicken. He just go.
Oh, chickens are gangsters. So we talking about pimps. Chickens are gorilla pimps. Y'all know what a gorilla pimp is?
Oh yeah.
Roosters are gorilla pimps. Like if you
game.
No, it ain't game.
It ain't game.
He grabs a chick by the neck, throws her on the ground, and jams in.
Serious? For real?
Yeah, that's what roosters do. So when you bring her, like if you see, I can tell who got that wop.
Yeah.
Straight up, based on how many feathers she has on her back, because he wearing her back out, and they start losing feathers.
Yeah.
And like we got one right now. She's a barred rock. She tells you, she's like, "Bruh, I might even be lesbian. I don't want nothing to do with him." And he wearing my behind out. Like, put me up. And she was in the tree last night. She didn't even want to go in the coop. She was like, both of them. She was like, "Nah, I'm trying to get away." So Charmaine was like, "Yeah, just," and I put her back in, and she was like, "You ain't right. She don't want to be in there."
The 50 Shades of Chicken Pimp.
50 Shades of Chicken Pimp.
Yeah. Hey man, you see, I got a straight look on my face. I ain't lying.
I never knew that the rooster did that. Like
that's why they call him a barnyard pimp.
Barnyard pimp, yo.
So he just goes around. just smashing. He got just little eggs out there.
Yo, if you bought a new chicken, if you bring a new chicken to the yard and you set it down, them dudes are gonna rush her, grab her by the back of the neck, and
No.
smash her down. The smart ones learn. They call it
mess from them chickens. Y'all been
right. In the chicken world, we call it the hussy squat.
The
so
hussy squat.
The hussy squat.
Oh, the hussy
So
squat.
you get a hot chicken, she'll walk around squatting like jump on my back, Charlie, jump. We call it the hussy squat. Yeah.
Oh, so that's the one who knows she got the WAP.
Who knows she got it, and she passing it out.
Yeah. Wayne, this is totally amazing. I thank you so much for this lesson.
Do y'all protect that chicken too? Like,
absolutely.
Do the big chicken protect them chickens too?
They will fight over that chicken. Somebody will die over that girl.
Somebody gonna die.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna die. Unless they smart like Pepe Le Pew. You get two chickens that go head to head.
Yeah.
They gonna die. But Pepe Le Pew is like, yeah, I got this figure, bro. You bigger than me. You got big spurs. You got everything the lady want. I'm gonna come whisper to her a little bit. You ain't saying the little thing. So it makes you check your game. Like, I need to go tell my wife she's pretty right now.
Get out of here. Wow. Yeah. You got mail, y'all, messages from him and the chicken. The chicken pimp, y'all. I never knew that. I didn't know I didn't know roosters are like that, like gangster like that. Like
straight up.
I didn't know that. Like
roosters are good for two things. Two F's, but we can't say it on the air.
The chicken. I ain't gonna look at another chicken the same.
And one of them is fighting.
I wonder if this chicken went out fighting.
Right.
or I wonder if this was the one that they were fighting over.
Right. I'm like,
right.
Oh, baby,
it's
right
always
here.
Gonna be that random thought in the back of your mind somewhere.
I'm just not gonna be able to look at chicken anymore. Like, I'm gonna be like, poor baby.
You gonna eat them though? You gonna eat them though, right?
Yeah. I'll be like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do you justice. I'm gonna, like, you know, wow, I never knew that.
Blue cheese, please.
Yeah, we love it. So that's just a side note. Some of the stuff that we're developing for the show we're gonna do on 102.6.
Yeah, I told y'all would have to do a show.
Yeah, that's some of the stuff we're gonna
right
do.
Here, I need narration with this chicken though. I need a pimp narration. Tressa, you know we good for doing some skits, girl.
I got a story about a goat who was a trisexual.
A goat?
A goat. And he would wear my pigs out. The girl pigs.
The goat?
Yeah.
The pig?
I got a picture of it. It was on my what's called yesterday. I posted it on Facebook. It came up as a memory.
The goat and the pig. See, now I'm trying to I'm trying to picture children's stories, trying to write a children's story book. Now I can't put a goat with the pig.
That ain't a children's story.
I can't put a.
Cause I mean, like the whole 9 yards. Take a nap afterwards. The whole 9 yards.
Tim said this enlightenment of how animals really are interested.
Yes.
No,
for real.
Yeah, all. So
you're gonna be my next guest coming in the week after next, because I need to hear some more of these stories.
I'm with it. That's kind of what a few years ago that made me realize that some people are born gay. I had a gay pig.
About the pigs and the
goat. I had a gay pig.
I'm sorry.
A gay pig?
Gay piglet. Yep.
I was trying to hold it in. Why you gotta laugh?
Gay piglet. He came out.
You banned.
Gay.
You blocked.
I couldn't keep him with other boys.
Are you freaking serious?
Yeah.
A gay pig. Yo, you got mail messages from him. Hi, up to Sean. I got my friends in the building. Farmer, shut up. Farmer,
I'm straight serious.
Did you hear this nut over here?
No. Yeah, that's kind of what led me to it, all the squealing. I was like, what is going on in here?
Hush, Wayne.
Oh my God.
I'm not making it up. I'm just telling you. I have lived several lives on this farm and this adventure I've been on these years. And it has opened my eyes to humanity.
Yeah.
sticky notes, the farm edition.
The farm edition.
Right.
To the farm and see how it really go down.
Wow.
You need some of that music in the background.
Hips to the gut, LGBTQ
Yo, that's amazing.
community.
Yo.
Wow,
That's
Farm
true.
Away. I cannot wait. I'm serious. I cannot wait for these episodes.
Me too.
What's happening on today's farm episode? The rooster went behind and got caught with the pig. Oh my gosh! What if the oh my goodness!
No, I gotta. It's on. It's on my. I'm gonna share it. I'll find it. I got my laptop. I'm gonna look for it and find it, and I'll send it to you, Sean. You can see him. Took a picture of him mounting a pig. And in my caption, I do remember typing, "Bro, you know she's a pig, right?"
Wait a minute, you talking about rooster?
No, it's a goat.
Goat, the goat.
So if there's a way I can find like what they suggest for history, I'll pull it up.
Wow.
This show went somewhere else.
Hey, you got mail messages from him. And the
so
pig
dope.
and the rooster.
And the rooster.
We got to bring the
pig.
rooster because we had to bring Pip the rooster back. Pepe Le Pew.
We ain't even get to that bull I had to get rid of because he was a premature ejaculator.
Oh man.
That's another true story.
That's some bull.
Yeah, it ain't in your mind for some of the fellas. It's a legit thing. I had a bull who was a premature ejaculator.
He said, JP, you stupid.
A premature ejaculator. You hear this?
He was a premature ejaculator.
He took shots too early.
Man, you know, I want to send some of that video of him to Tony Barker.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he can.
Tracy said the goat is super free.
Yeah, super
So
free.
he'll be in like a few seconds though. Farm away.
Bruh, he didn't even make it that far, bruh.
Wow.
He was young, so the smell was over exciting for him. So I guess that where I got him from, he was just around a bunch of boys. So when he came to be around some females and the smell hit him, he was like, you know, what man be saying, you take some of these pre pumps and these and then I'll be like, bruh, you wasting it. I was like, I paid for you. I need to go in the girl here.
Oh my
He
God.
just, you know,
Wow.
sending kids all over the place.
You got mail messages from him.
That's what he do when he premature.
That's a goat. That ain't a cow.
You a bull, bro. You can't be all over the.
Nah, man, he be hollering. You have to see. You have to. I'll do more videos so you can see. Like, and there's a call. They make like a bugle.
Oh my goodness. Like we literally, oh my goodness.
All the stuff that you think about that happens with people. There's like a nerd guy who won't ever get no action because for some reason they just have determined him. I got a cow out there that he's like an outcast. Ain't nothing wrong with him. But they don't want the kids near him. I don't know if he touched kids or what. They don't want the babies near him. He's on the outskirts of the herd. We got to take him hay over there to his section to give it to him.
Weirdo. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, he's a weirdo, but he looks like a weirdo.
Really?
And what's crazy is that the hurdle, they know this. How do they know?
They know.
They know.
Wow.
You know, he one of theirs, so they don't want nobody else to mess with him. But they like, yeah, you know, stay over there.
Holler.
No, they roar like the Slits Malt Liquor commercial. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
When they go, roar, that's what they sound like.
I know,
I'm trying to find that picture.
Oh my goodness. Farm away. We need our field trip again. See this won't be the kids portion of the field trip.
Oh. Oh, so you know we gotta get Ebony on one day. Cause we had I used to do these tours. And so Ebony came to one of the tours and she didn't know it was a church group.
Oh no.
So what this? I think this is that same situation with the pig and the goat. So,
For real?
yeah.
They started.
So so they start messing around. And this is when we all had that conversation club and all that group and everything.
Right,
So
right, right.
Oh,
so the thing mounts, the male mounts a female. Ebony was like, "Yeah, let's go get down." And the church people looked at her. I looked at her and was like, "This ain't that group. This ain't that group."
oh.
So I was cracking up.
Conversation Farm Edition, Midnight Farm Edition.
Right. What was hilarious. But there's always something going on, man.
Oh man.
And
I'm so
breeding is
glad
what we
the
do.
kids, 'cause,
I don't.
he
Grown.
did
What'd you
the
say?
virtual farming for my class one day, and they fell in love with
Oh yeah.
Farmer Wayne. I think you was no when you came to the school, you had the human. I mean, not the
The
human.
cow heart.
Cow heart. My boys went bananas over the cow heart. Oh my
Wow.
gosh, they love the blood and all of that. But the virtual, he did the virtual trip.
That's one of my best videos. That video from your.
Really?
It was a beehive. Remember?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
beehive. They had all kinds of questions, and the girls were like, "Where's the queen bee? Ain't there's a girl bee?" And this, that, and the other. And I was like, "I don't know nothing about all this. It's Farmer Wayne's department."
Yep. That was one. I take that video anytime I do because the kids responded to it so well.
Yeah.
I had to look at it a bunch of times to kind of be like, well, why do kids love this video over other videos? And I just
Yeah.
gave up. I'm like, they love it. So
Yeah.
anytime I'm around any children, I'm asked to speak. That video is the video that I show.
No
Yeah,
doubt, no
yeah.
doubt,
So
no
they can't.
doubt.
Yeah, my kids won't be able to see the pimp.
Yeah, nah.
Well, what's that? No, Miss Green, we're not going over there. We staying right here, not where
But
the cows.
in some cases, man, it just depends on when you visit.
Yeah.
I think we visited, like I tell you, it's funny. If you want to laugh, visit the zoo around the 1st of April because the tortoises are mating.
Really?
And the tortoises are obnoxiously vocal love makers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get that.
It's hilarious. Google it on YouTube. It's hilarious.
Really?
And you would think that it was like 80-year-old couples going at it, oohing and ahhing and long. It's hilarious. And we went one time.
Told me that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. You gotta watch. Just Google it.
So you say I
Tortoises
needed
mating.
before I tuned in. This has me.
Oh
weak.
yeah, right. The views of Farmer Wayne are not necessarily those
Right,
of the
views
102.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow. Jeff said, where does he get this information from?
From the farm, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Batiste. Don't you start with me.
I was about to say he not start with you.
Yo, you right, Farmer Wayne. I'm hearing it right now on YouTube.
This
I'm
boy,
dead.
he didn't.
It's my job to watch animals mate.
Yo,
You see how he knows?
That's my job.
Oh,
You got the sound?
yo,
Let me hear it.
You gotta let the listeners hear it.
Can the listeners hear it?
Yeah, they'll hear it.
You hear the shells rubbing.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, yeah, Jeff, I'm a weirdo. I don't have a problem with that. I accept that.
Wow.
Yo, you see his tongue is all out.
You
Oh, my
got
goodness.
mail messages from him, y'all.
Wow.
But y'all, this is what I
Thanks
guess
for the
me,
lesson, yo.
me and y'all sit around and y'all have these chats about life. Like this is
Hey,
the
baby,
farm
let's-
life.
Let's get this turtle love going on, baby. Come on, baby.
Jeff called me a weirdo. We both in the dog business, and we have to watch dogs mate. And sometimes you got to help the dog get in there.
Oh my goodness.
Midnight
this
meeting
is
with Farmer.
right.
Make that tortoise sound, baby. Turn me on, baby.
Hey man, why you messing around? What'd you say? A bottle of Shan Pipple. And Friday night. Put that tortoise tape on, baby.
I'm gonna have to put that disclaimer up because I can't even drink my coffee. I'm afraid I'm gonna spit it all
What were we
over.
talking about today? What was today's show about?
OMG.
Farmer Wayne and the wife gone for the weekend, baby. It's me and you. It's me and you, baby.
The lights off in the house, y'all. They gone.
Let go. The lights on, they gone. Ain't nobody gonna farm this house, baby. Come on.
The priests come out at night.
They- they-
This is true.
No farmer priest.
This is true.
Farm fornication.
I don't even know how you gonna get me off the farm now.
Right, exactly.
Johnny, it's time to go. It's like 9 o'clock, Johnny. It's dark out here.
Like, nah,
Well,
I'm
hold
chill.
on. This is when it's about to go down, Farmer Wayne.
Well, y'all come back in January because January starts up again.
Oh, for real? Well, I'm
Yeah,
going on.
January we breathe.
We're gonna have a whole line around the corner. We're here for the farm.
9:30 at night. Farmer gonna be like, who the fuck outside? We'll run and grab the shotgun and be like, yo, just me, man, just me. Just me, Farmer Wayne.
With his camcorder on the shoulder.
Right.
I can't even see the show, baby. I can't even
Yeah,
see
so
the
what were we
show,
talking about today? What?
Yeah.
How do we get from this?
Oh man.
My bad. Come on.
We're waiting on our guests. We were
okay.
supposed to
So
have
I need to start a channel called Farm Hub.
Yes.
Yeah, Farm life fornication.
Farm Hub.
Presented by
Tim said PV Farm Edition. You know, P Valley
Yo.
Farm Edition.
Oh, no. P-Valley Farm Edition.
Farm back.
Y'all hilarious.
Yo, y'all.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Yo.
So Trump, you heard about Trump and his coronavirus?
Yes, we heard about you.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait.
Go ahead.
Off the rails today.
So just so people know, I do not sell this.
Okay.
And it's just
I know
it's
you
crazy
don't.
because I'm about to say I sell meat, but that ain't gonna fit in this equation.
Okay, y'all. We're going to shift gears here. I can't get the farm out of my head now, y'all.
Y'all done corrupted my farm.
Hey, Chef.
Yeah, somebody bring me some sage. Y'all done made my farm nasty.
Let's bring him some sage.
Bring him sage.
Let's bring him sage. Farmer Wayne needs some sage.
Oh, my goodness.
Let me go walk around my 30
she
acres.
said we need to arrange a YGM field trip. It is, look, we getting it. We getting it together. We're going to do that. Oh, my goodness. You've got mail messages from him. Yo, this is what we do is raw conversation with black men, for black men, about black men.
Yes.
And we have a black farmer, you guys, a real black farmer.
Real black farm.
We got black CEOs in here,
Yes.
owners of 102, and
Yes.
myself, Tishawn, owners
right.
of the show.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just chopping it up while we're waiting on our guests, but we're gonna shift gears to the
Oh, and our
Yo.
what y'all did. I hope she ain't listening. She's a Christian author.
Oh, snap. For real.
But it is fantasy, so maybe I'm sorry, Lord. Just
It's been a while since he cut up like
the
this.
Lord gonna strike it up.
I'm sorry. Let me stop.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. All right.
Oh,
So
my
y'all, the president Donald Trump got corona, and now he's not gonna do the debate. He refused to do the debate.
Oh,
So
for
how?
real?
Yeah, I heard on
Nah,
this.
debate's canceled.
Yeah. So how? I didn't know you could do that. Well,
I
are
had no
debates
idea.
required? Are they
I-
required?
They're not required, but I think
Okay.
it's a little deeper than that. I think whatever they gave Trump went back to that like 1979 pure yellow yayo. They got that man. He on something.
Y'all think he has corona?
I think he has it, but I think they gave him something that's about as good as that 1979 pure coca that makes you think you can jump tall buildings.
Mm.
Cause he out there.
Wow. How old is he? He's 70,
70,
right?
71.
70,
70 something. So they were
71,
saying that
72.
him and Biden Biden, if he wins, he will be the oldest president.
If Biden
the
would
oldest.
Yeah.
Biden 76 out there, or 75, something like that. 74.
Okay. So I
Man.
mean, so he's canceling the debate. So what happens now?
Oh, we still vote, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna vote, but he didn't want none more of that. He just looked like a imbecile.
Yeah.
Like that, everybody got that one uncle that
yeah.
comes to Thanksgiving and you sit there and you egg him on. Oh, what'd they say? What they doing right now? And you just going to, boy, you don't want me to get in there, boy. And
Right.
that's Trump. Trump is that uncle who
Yeah.
should never even be at the head of the Thanksgiving table, let alone in White House.
Oh, so here we
This
have
dude.
our Arthur, Regina.
Yay!
Regina.
Welcome,
Hey
welcome.
guys,
How are you?
So he's gonna
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. Welcome. We just sit here shooting the breeze. Did you hear some of the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Woo-hoo.
You close.
Uh-oh.
Good part.
Yeah, I just came in.
Oh my goodness. So we have, oh my goodness. You've got mail. Y'all done got me off game this morning.
I know, me
with
too.
This farm thing. We've got Arthur Regina Curry in the building, you guys. Let's welcome her.
Yes.
Hey, hey.
Thank you. Thank you for
Arthur.
having me.
Thank you for coming. And so we're gonna go ahead and jump right in because they up in here cutting up. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, they cutting up.
Uh-oh.
You got to cut up with us.
Cutting up like with a
Okay.
Ginzu knife. Y'all remember Ginzu knives?
Ginzu
Oh,
knife.
yeah. I remember them things. Man.
You remember Ginzu? You can cut a can with it. You
I know.
remember that commercial?
They throw the tomato up and slice it in midair.
Oh, yes. The video game. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I remember that.
So help me welcome Christian Arthur, Ms. Regina Curry. Are you're a Christian Arthur, correct?
Well, the novel that I wrote is Christian. Yeah, I've
Okay.
written some other things, but they're screenplays, so they're
Oh.
not necessarily Christian.
Okay.
okay.
So
Yeah.
tell us more about you and what you do. What is it that you do?
Well, I have a production company. I'm a graduate of Howard University. I started out writing HU.
That's it.
I started writing screenplays, but I wanted to change one into a novel. So I changed Marked, the beginning of it, into a novel, and it's a trilogy. And it's the first installation, and it's based on a Christian character.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? How? Because I've never heard of a Christian fantasy
Superhero.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Well, I'm a writer. So, and my father was a bishop.
Okay.
So I'm a PK.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of raised that way. And so I've always wanted to see that. I've always heard these stories of this magnificent God and all the supernatural things that he's done. Yeah. And in my own personal opinion, he is the only one that can create a superhero. Mm. So I use just what I've learned in my life to put together a story. It's kind of based on my life and some of the things I've seen and experienced. And what I see coming. Mm-hmm. I think I might have a little teeny bit of prophetic discernment. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just, so I just wrote, and I didn't mean for it to be a trilogy. Mm-hmm. It just started out as really a screenplay. Really? But when I wrote the novel, it's like it turned into a trilogy because it's just not finished yet. So it's like when I first started writing, the title was Marked. Mm-hmm. But by the time I got finished, it was marked the beginning of the end because there's so much more to come. But this is definitely the beginning of the end of ages, I believe, as far as Christ's return.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, is the book based on the book of Mark or the trilogy?
No, the book is Marked, the beginning of the end is kind of based just on my life, the things I've seen, experienced, and so on. So it's based on the Bible, not necessarily one book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of Revelations going in
there. A little
bit
of everything. Ezekiel. Yeah. Actually, the title came from
You got
Ezekiel.
a wheel and a wheel in your book?
No.
Oh,
but I have God in the book.
Yes, ma'am.
I have God in the book, and I have his beautiful beast, because there's no other book that describes beast like the Bible does. And, and so some of the beasts I've tried to bring to fruition, a lot of dinosaurs and things like that.
Really?
But the name came from Ezekiel because Ezekiel does talk about a mark. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about this mark. We always think of the mark of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
Oh.
actually a mark that God gives his people, and it's in Ezekiel.
Really?
And so, yeah. And so I think that might be in these last days, you know how the Bible says his people will do um, great things.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of those people have that mark.
Really?
Yeah. And so in Ezekiel, if you read Ezekiel 9, it talks about this mark and how God told his angels to go down and mark his people so that they would not be hurt, you know, and stuff. So that's where the actual storyline came from. It came from Ezekiel.
And we've been focused on the mark of the beast.
We focus on the mark of the beast, but God has a mark also that he gives
Forehead
certain people.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the body per
Yeah.
se. I'm talking about a certain people that he marks. And I think they have certain works that they're going to do.
Wow. So when you wrote this, when you wrote this, I know, how long did it take you to create this character? Because I know as a writer, you know, you're thinking, or it did it just come up out of, you know, out of nowhere, or did it just over time you develop this character?
Over time. I started this book, believe it or not, I graduated from Howard in 97. Okay. So it's a long, long, long time ago. And so the book kind of came during that time. So it's been years.
Okay.
It's been years. It's just been cultivated for years. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Awesome.
is it a screenplay? You said it's a screenplay?
It started out as a screenplays because that's what I wrote. You know, that's
Oh.
what I wanted to do. I wanted to write screenplays. But after a while, you know, trying to sell your intellectual property, it's hard to get over, especially if it doesn't quite fit the narrative.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? Well, let me just go ahead and turn Marked into a novel, because if anything, that's the one I want to have done.
Yeah.
I want that published. I want that to be able to, for people to read it. Yeah.
Wow.
So had you thought about, or in your preparation for your book, were there any, did you think about C.S. Lewis and his journey that he took with his trilogy? Reading more than trilogies. I think he's got like 8 books, but they're Christian based, analytical, and just curious. We're a big fan of those books.
You mean Left Behind?
No, his, going back to all of the, what did he write?
Chronicles
Wardrobe.
of Narnia.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, those. No.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I was surprised to find that they were considered Christian books. I really was.
Really?
Yeah.
I really was, because there's no mention of God in the books. It's really fantasy. And I think that I don't necessarily agree with them being considered Christian novels, because how can it be a Christian novel if you don't talk about the God that gave all of these people powers and beasts and so on and so forth? So I don't know. Have you guys ever?
I have
gotten that. Okay, you've gotten God in that.
I think I look at the time that it was written,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a different time than we're in now. Like everything now is, if you don't say it out loud, you can't be it. Where people then lived it more, then they did a lot less preaching and living through. The life was a sermon then, versus I can just sit up and talk and make a bunch of money. You actually had to live a sermon. I think even preachers had to work back then. You had to you couldn't just preach. There was a different time when he wrote his books. But yeah, me and my mom have this discussion all the time about those books, because she didn't want my son to read them. She was like, "Yeah, I don't think that's about Christ." And I was like, "It's a book.
Yeah,
And here's what we get." So yeah, it's a great discussion.
It
but
is.
I just thought it was a different time, and I think people, because of his personal writings, that made it go into the books, into Christianity. I don't necessarily think that they're Christian books, but they are. Him and Tolkien are the blueprint for a lot of fantasy books that we see. Like, I'm a Star Wars nut. I'm a Tolkien nut. I've read all of the Harry Potter books.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a fantasy guy. I'm a sci-fi nerd, fantasy. If
Yeah.
I can't wait to read your books, superhero
Yeah. Yeah.
comic books guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And my book is current. The character is current. It's all current times.
Okay.
I don't agree that his books are Christian. As a matter of fact, there's a borderline with some people who believe they're actually uh, tokens of
Demonic.
the kingdom of dark. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom says they're
Yeah.
demonic. Yeah.
Kingdom of darkness. I call them the kingdom of darkness because there's so many of them. But yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah. So I really I don't consider them Christian at all either.
Who is the main character of
Jonathan Peterson.
Okay, and what inspired you? Who inspired that character?
Well, he was kind of inspired by a lot of people. So not necessarily one person, just a lot of people. Yeah.
So describe to the listeners out here what is Mark the beginning of the end. Describe it so the readers can go out and purchase it.
It's like a coming of age. The first installation is basically about Jonathan Peterson and how he basically became to be, and his journey into his purpose. And so his main purpose in this installation is basically the agenda is the food supply. And his mom, which kind of represents me. I worked at the FDA for a very long time. His mom is like a nerdy kind of scientist. And so there's an issue where food is kind of brought into the picture. And then it kind of goes on a trail that shows how he becomes who he is and so on and so forth. But it's centered around the food supply and how God has given him an agenda to work with some other people to kind of preserve what we can in the earth.
Really?
Yeah. While we go through all of this trauma and drama that we're about to go through. And the funny thing about it is when I wrote the book, it took years, but when I published it in last year.
Okay.
And it is amazing how some of the things in the book, are happening now. We did not know we would be here in 2020. You know what I mean? And so it's just like amazing how some of the things are just happening. And it's interesting and I wouldn't say frightening, but it makes you think.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Curry, you want to know what I'm in the food business.
Okay.
I'm a farmer. I own a farm. I sell direct to customer, but I actually tell people I think food is the way that they're gonna get us.
And that's what the book is. That's what the book is about.
I tell people all the time, you can buy all the bullets you want. You still got to eat.
You know what?
Right.
That's so. You're a farmer, right?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because my issue now is, and you're so right. You have to understand the kingdom of darkness. The enemy is strategic, and there's nothing that's going to affect the human body other than food and water. As much as food and water, And so my question to you, because I ask this every time I go to organic shopping, is where do you get your seed?
I get my seed off of plants.
Okay. So where are your plants coming from? Are you planting your own garden?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so but just to clarify on that, so what happens is this is the guys have heard me say this a million times. God doesn't make mistakes.
Right, exactly.
And there's a plan. We can't be so arrogant to think that we can improve on God's plan.
Exactly.
So when I get seed, like I just got a rye that we plant in the winter, it comes from a rye field, but it's a very limited supply because they're not throwing a bunch of nitrates and chemicals on it to inflate the number of seedlings so that they can inflate the amount they can sell. Right. If you go back to when we were children, food is seasonal. Right. We shouldn't have oranges all year because it's seasonal.
Right.
God gave it a season. And once we start breaking these patterns, and that's not saying that you can't go to Peru or Bolivia somewhere, but they're not eating the food that they're growing. We're eating it. We're kind of gluttonous in that. So yeah, no, I believe in a lot of seeds I get are off of the plant. I won't cut for a year. And when I do cut it, those plants would have gone to seed. Thus, the system, the seasons, letting it go to birth and death, and in death it will recreate. So that's what we do on our farm.
Right. And see that's natural, that's natural farming. You're very rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're very rare.
I hear that a lot now.
You're very rare, because I ask all the time, and when I go to these markets, they can't even really tell me where they got their seeds from. So just because you go to an organic market or an organic store, it does not necessarily mean that food is organic.
I don't use that term anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
We say that we're a clean farm.
Oh, well, that's better.
Yeah.
So you have clean seeds. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I raise meat, but I'm a grass farmer. Like if I don't I don't grow just grass. Our animals eat a salad bowl. Okay. So we're doing it just like the Mother Nature would have done it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we believe that.
Just because it says organic, it's not necessarily organic.
Necessarily clean.
No,
or clean. My cows can be on the pasture for 6 months out the year. Then another 3 months, I can feed them organic feed. And then another 3 months, I can just straight feed them whatever I want to feed them. But as long as I hit a percentage of organic, they can then go and say it's organic. It's all marketing. It's just to make you buy stuff. And the same thing with vegans and veg. I keep telling everybody, you can go vegan all you want, but in this system, they're going to do whatever they got to do to sell you more vegetables, which means they're going to spray it and do everything they can to get more to market. So stop telling people you're a vegan and they won't mess up the vegetables.
Right.
But the more people tell y'all vegan and this becomes a trend, they're going to mess up the vegetables too.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
In the name of dollars.
Yeah. The name. Yeah.
And then you have this great big organization like the Food and Drug Administration that allows them to do it. And so when I was there, it was a labeling issue and we fought and everything, but they're not even making the people label their products properly. So it's a big racket. Yeah, it's a big racket. I left FDA about 2001 and I started going into teaching. But so that's what my inspiration for the first installation came from.
So would you say God led you out of that because to give you the insight to create this? It's creating not just a story, but what God has placed in you to spread the message, because now you have this insight from the FDA and what Farmer Wayne is saying, so you can feed the people the proper.
I believe, totally believe that he led me in there and out. It was I believe my whole life has been orchestrated by him. Yeah. Because when I was at the FDA, I was young. I was, just coming out of college. I didn't know anything about FDA and food and that kind of stuff. I used to complain to God, forgive me, but I did, because I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to write screenplays. That's my thing, And so I'm like, why am I here? And it really wasn't until I got out that I understood why he put me there. Because I have so much insight as to what I saw while I was at FDA and how they have, and I hate to say this, but it's so true, how they have destroyed our food supply. We don't know what we're really eating right now.
We don't. You don't.
Right, unless you meet a guy like me.
Like you're very rare, very rare.
So I just want to just share this. So what happened with Miss Curry is she was a seed, right? But until you put a seed in a situation that is in darkness and covered, it can't find its true nature. It doesn't know what it is until it comes up through something. Okay. So the FDA was your plant, it was your soil. And you had to be covered in that and get a little, there was some friction under there, some heat. Right. And then you started to come out of that shell. And it wasn't until you popped up and realize, oh, okay, there's a whole new world out here. So I tell people what I'm speaking. I was like, yeah, if you get covered in some stuff, I'm a cusser, but I try not to cuss. So if you get, you get covered in some stuff, settle down for a minute because
Mhm.
you're covered for a reason.
Yeah.
So true.
And God doesn't put you in situations just to put you in situation. There's a lesson, there's a vocation, there's a life change in that covering. Now just grow.
Hmm.
Right.
I believe that
Right.
because I
Very
know
good.
me and Farmer Wayne, we've been friends for a while back in college.
30 some years.
Yeah. And it's
Wow.
taken
Good.
me these recent years to really, my aunt taught us how to grow a garden when we were little. So, a
Mhm.
lot of older folks, I don't eat fast food and this. Now I understand why my grandmothers and my aunts, they grew their own food, but it didn't start hitting us until we got older, until we started seeing the sickness, the health.
Yeah.
It was like linked back to the food. And so now for me, I'm on this new journey. And I know I was taking down a note when you said that God is giving you this vision, because I believe it is a vision God has given you about the food, where it's going to
Mhm.
come through that food. And I remember as a family, I'm not sure if you all did that, but we fasted and we prayed, because I
Mhm.
remember my father saying there's going to become a time where you're not going to have the food that you're used to eating. So you
Mm.
have to fast, because you're going to have to be sustained by that water and by the word. And so as I'm getting older, I'm seeing that this food really is killing us, and we're so addicted to it. Because I was just talking
Mhm.
about how addicted I am to chicken. And so, and God has convicted me of that. But but it's like getting back to that food of that God has placed in. And so it's like Farmer Wayne was saying, the connections are not just connections, because here it is, you have people like you and Farmer Wayne who are educating us about the food. And,
Mhm.
and it's up to us to continue to say, it must be something to this, because it's all going back to God's word,
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
and I just really believe that it is just ordained for, and that's why it's not popular. That it's not popular. It's
It's
like
not. Yeah.
that mark of his people. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm feeling like. That's what it is. Everybody's not going to be on this journey, because it's a process. You
Mhm.
know, when you're snatching away the food that we're addicted to now clean eating, you're like, and your
Mhm.
body does a shift. My body is literally shifting because of the food.
Wow.
You know, that's amazing. Wow. You
Yeah.
have mail messages from him. We have Arthur Regina Curry. I'm sorry, I didn't finish reading your bio. Regina Curry is an author, producer, and CEO of Pearl Productions, publishing and distribution. The Washington mother of two is a Christian-based author who began her company for herself and other Christian artists to share their work through music, novels, television programming, and film. Regina will not only tell her stories, but their stories. Who is Pearl Productions? And
Oh
what
well, that okay. That's my that's my company. Yeah, that's my company, Pearl Productions, and I have some artists that I'm working with. I have a rap artist group that I'm working with, Christian rap, right
Christian?
now, and they're on the website, so people can kind of hear some of their stuff. They're kind of hardcore, but really good,
Yeah.
kind of gangster
Okay.
Christian. No cursing or anything, but
Yeah.
real, real music.
Can they flow?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
You got to check them out. You got to check them out.
Definitely will.
Yeah. So how is being a Christian faith-based production company? Do you find any difference in that from other companies or other authors or whatnot, or is there a difference for you?
There's sort of a difference because, like you said, a lot of people are they just have their own views. It's just, if you do not fit this narrative out here, even for Christians, you have some Christians who are trying to fit the narrative.
Yeah.
If you're not going to fit that narrative, you're going to have a hard time to go, period.
Mm.
And so that's kind of where I am, but it's okay because I'm
Yeah.
not going to adjust to this watered down narrative that all of these Christians are kind of pushing
Yeah.
at this time. They're not really prepping the people for what's to be and what's to come. So, you know, it's like, so it's not it's a struggle, but I mean, it's okay.
What do you feel? What do you feel that, what do you feel about that? Like, what do you feel like the agenda is of some Christians, and I don't know if we could say real Christians or fake Christians, or I don't know. What
Well,
do
that's
you?
a whole nother topic, but yeah.
That is.
Yeah. You know what I say? Sometimes I say the body. Because I know that at one time I was so frustrated with the title Christian. I was just like, you know what? I'm not even a Christian anymore. Just call me the body, you know, because God is coming back for his body. So I think that's the difference. Yeah.
And I understand that, because when I developed this show, I wanted the faith base, and I struggled with the term Christian because I was like, you know what, it has become watered down, or going to have this expectation, and I'm like, I just want to represent God, you know, whatever I can do, represent God. So I always say I operate in faith, in this faith base, because I do have, sometimes I get pushback from the Christian community.
Yes, me too. Me too.
But I didn't do anything, you know. And so do you get that pushback as being?
I do.
Okay.
I bet you did when you did a superhero and it wasn't Jesus with a cape.
That and I was just about I was just about to go there. I get pushed back because of my character. But these are the same
That's
people.
what made me want to read it when I looked it up. That's what made me want to read it. As a guy who likes comics, that was I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be interesting.
And it's biblically based. And I was kind of disappointed at first because I'm looking for Christians to read it because I want to have a discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because everything he does is biblically based. But I'm having some pushbacks from some Christians who are like, oh, that's kind of fantasy. Well, did God part the waters? Is that fantasy? I mean, did Elijah outrun a chariot? Is that fantasy? I mean, these are all things in the Bible. So it's like you have to know who your God is. So but I got a lot of pushback from Christians.
Questions like, how did you get pushback from Christians?
It's just fantasy.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, you're talking.
I was going to say, do you find, and this is in my professional life, I find this, that most of the pushback comes from people who, in my case, have never put their hand in the dirt, but they have a title.
Yes.
So you probably, it sounds like you're getting pushed back from people who's like, well, that ain't biblical, but they can't quote a thing from the Bible.
From the Bible, right. Yeah.
Can't quote anything. Don't even know it.
Yeah. So I keep doing what you're doing. And we need, it's several billion people.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have different experiences. And this is the discussion that I'm referencing my mom. Me and my mom have all day discussions on Bible and biblical philosophy and Josephus and history and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I like
but
Josephus.
I find that people, you telling me that you serve a God that can crush a mountain.
Right.
But I can't write a book.
Right.
That's what you're telling me.
Right.
You're telling me that this God can snatch cancer out of somebody's body and raise somebody from the dead, but my character can't be a superhero.
Right. If you know God, that's the only superhero that can be. That's the only real one.
Yeah.
You know, is the one that God ordains, you know? So you're so right. So right. And that's what I get. I get that from a lot of the theologians.
Really?
You know, I don't necessarily mind, you know, the world, like what in the world is this, you know? Yeah. But when you talk about theologians, you know, people who are supposed to know the Bible, I mean, I have a problem with people talking about a rapture. I'm talking about theologians talking about a rapture. If you look at the book of Revelation, the only group of people that are not going to be here during this time of trial is the Church of Philadelphia. So I don't know where this rapture thing comes from. If you're not in that Church of Philadelphia, we're going to be here until Jesus himself comes back and takes us. So there's a lot of misinterpretation of that Bible. And a lot of it, unfortunately, I must say, is coming from the higher ranks of the church, and they're just kind of flowing, and you have to know the adversary. I mean, I like I said, my father was a bishop, so
Right.
we had a very open dialogue. I mean, my father was adamant about the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is so unsung.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't operate in him.
No.
And so you have to have that in order for you to even have insight
it's not
to read the Bible,
It's not popular to operate in the Holy Spirit because, again, people don't believe. They only, I remember growing up and our family was quite different on the religion train,
Mm-hmm.
really necessarily go the religion. We operated in the spirit, and it looks
Right.
different from religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's not favorable.
No, it's not.
It feel like an outcast. It makes you like, well, am I serving the same God that you all serving?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a problem that I have now with the Christians that they call themselves Christians. You talk about faith out of one, sentence, and then you're like siding with the world. You can't straddle the fence. It has
Not at all.
I think the problem there is a lot of Christians don't realize we are actually living in a foxhole, right?
Hmm.
So they tell you that there are no atheists in foxholes, right? You won't believe in something. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that what happens at church waters down people's faith so much, and they think that it's faith.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's religiosity. You're just in a pattern. You're
Mm-hmm.
not practicing faith, you're practicing a religion. And
Yes.
that's why, and I see it every time on my farm. And I have this problem. I tell when people who tell me that, you don't know him like I do. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, but if you know him, why are you scared of everything?
Right. Right.
Why is everything scaring you?
Right.
You really think a sheep is going to attack you out here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if you are um, in such faith, if you're in such a walk, you probably got to know the odds that a rattlesnake in Atlanta ain't really here, and that one ain't gonna jump up on you and bite you while you're walking down to see these fish in this pond. So it always, so that what you probably are doing is shaking up the people who are comfortable because they
Mm-hmm.
want to read what they want to read. Nobody
Right.
wants to do anything new. They want to keep reading, anything by Charles Stanley, something calm, low key. That ain't us.
Right.
That's not where we come from.
Right.
Them
Where they
songs that we used to sing, we don't sing anymore. Them
Right.
songs had a message and a spirit in them, and it was a revolution and a fight. And don't get me started and all that, but we ain't calm in what we
Mm-hmm.
do in Christians as Africans that are now in America studying.
Right.
So yeah, no.
Do you see
Right.
where we are now? Do you see that what we're going through with the administration and all of that? Do you see this as a prophecy from the word of what's happening?
Oh yeah, I think all of this is biblical.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of it, even with God puts who he wants in office.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe who's in office is just who's supposed to be in office. So, yeah, I believe all of this. Have you guys just heard about the Abraham Accord?
No, what's that?
That's what President Trump just signed. And that's like a peace treaty between Israel and those surrounding countries or nations that they're fighting with, Egypt and some of the other
United Emirates, I think. United
yeah, the
Arab Emirates.
all of these so there's a peace treaty. But so if you know the Bible too, when the Bible says when
Peace
that
in
happens,
Israel.
what comes?
The anti.
Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Destruction comes. And so all of this is happening before our eyes. And guess what? You still have these preachers talking about money cometh and
Name it
all
and
this
claim
other
it.
stuff. Name it and claim it. And not telling. I mean, it's just weird that, and I don't want to blame it just on preachers because you have to understand the adversary is strategic.
Right.
So he's going to put people in the church. He's going, but where's the discernment?
Yeah.
So it's
they're
I've
feeding,
always,
What some
Does
of
your
them,
character address Zionism and Zionists and all that stuff? Is that in your
My,
book as well?
yeah.
Oh,
He addresses, the funny thing is, I wrote it where there is a non African Jewish man who had adopted. You have to read the book, but he basically is the one who he's Jewish, and Jonathan is really good friends with his son, who he adopted. But he teaches Jonathan who he really is, because really the African Americans, I don't like African American that much. I mean, even though we are African, I like Negro because we're the ones who were bought, sent all over the place. We really have ties to being the original Israelites and the original people of the Bible. And so this man in the book kind of teaches Jonathan that. So yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's
I just,
definitely in the book.
just on that point, I
yeah.
wish more of us would understand maps and understand you don't get modern day Christianity without Ethiopia.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ethiopia is where it starts, like in old maps. So you understand everything on the other side of the Mediterranean was Ethiopia.
Mhm.
And a bit of where we have in Italy and Crete was Ethiopia. And so we get stuck on this thing called the Holy Land. It became the Middle East once they decided to take the black people out of God.
Jerusalem.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
Israel, that's where we originated, in that area. And do you guys know that they have a place, and it's on the map, it's on old maps though, because they changed the map so much, but there's a place called Negro Land. You guys know about that?
I
I've
never
There's
heard of that.
but I didn't know. I honestly I've heard, but never dwelled into it, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, there was a place on, and it's in West Africa. And so the story of Negro land, that's why I use the term Negro, because there's a reason why we were called Negroes when we were brought to the United States, brought and bought. But Negro land was in a place in Western Africa. And so the story is that when Titus banished the Jews from Jerusalem and Israel, we went to this place called Negro land. And so that's why we have those stories of how, oh, the Africans, they sold us out, or the Africans, they did this, and, they sold us to America. Well, they knew who we were. They knew that we were from Jerusalem. They knew that, so that's why they sold us. It wasn't necessarily that they sold their own people out. They sold the people that came over there that looked like them, that they knew were not them.
Mm.
And so they say that that's where we went, in this place called Negro Land. You will not find it on the maps, but if you go to my website or my blog, I did a blog about this some years ago, and I did a video, and I show you the map and the progression of the Jews, which went to this Negro Land, and from there, that is where the slavery took place, in that coast. And so that's how we got here. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's
I have a little bit of a different take on that because all of us came up from up the Nile. Like most people think down the Nile's flowing this way. So you're coming from the Sudan up through Egypt into Jerusalem. It's the same people. And when you look at it on the map, it's not far. It's like going from Jersey to DC. It's not far at all. So once they start fighting, and you got to keep in mind, there was no race. Race is something that was made up by Europeans. So if a tribe fought another tribe, it was customary to take captives, especially if you're nurturing the wounded, but then now you're captives. But there was no chattel slavery. So if I'm from Israel or the area near Israel and I go into the heart of the continent where the resources were to fight a battle and I'm taken captive, I look like the people who I'm fighting against. There were some subtle differences. But for the most part, it was like Europe fighting Europeans and enslaving Europeans. They don't really talk about all that they did. It's human nature all the way around the globe. It's tribal. So when people say that they sold us because we were different, I don't think physiologically we were different. We were different tribes, but
Well,
we're
that's
all
what I
black.
mean. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
meant we weren't a part of their tribe. You
Right, right,
know,
right,
right?
right.
Because we were banished from Titus in the 70 AD time. We were banished from Jerusalem, so they knew that we were a different tribe. We just settled in this place, and I just find it interesting how they call this place Negro land. And as soon as we get to America, go back and look at footage. They never called us Africans. They
Right.
called us Negroes. And for years, you know, we thought that they called us Negroes because we were black. No, they called us Negroes because I believe they knew exactly where they got us, because Satan and the kingdom of darkness, his main purpose is to keep his hand on us and
Mhm.
to know exactly where we are.
And
And that's why they went and brought us here. Yeah,
my father used to say we were the chosen people.
we definitely are.
And he used to tell us that all the time. And again, it was not favorable because when you're operating in the Holy Spirit, when you're talking in the Holy Spirit, it's not favorable
It's
among.
not.
So to say that all the time, and I was just having this conversation with my brothers and sisters, and I had texted them. We have a group text, and I said, you know, Dad always said that we were the chosen people because we were talking about what's happening and all of this, and so my brother said, you know what? He used to say that all the time, and it's coming too. And now hearing you say that,
That's
and
confirmation.
yeah, Negro, because I always had it, and Chip could say because we took our religion course together.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I never understood the term African American, and I struggled with it because I used to ask people, I'm like, what do we call ourselves?
hmm
Do we call ourselves black? Do we call ourselves African American? Do we call ourselves, you know, I never understood. And so I just went with the flow because every time I asked this question, I would get the pushback or I would get the, you know, your strong black woman speech or whatever. And I'm just like, I
Right.
want to know who we are because it has
hmm
something deeper. This, and part of it is my fault because
We
I did,
Africans.
yeah. But I mean,
Initially, because Israel is in Africa, but I still, you know, I use Negro
so
because you have African Americans here who are not like us, who did not, uh, their ancestors were not slaves. But I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't
no,
mean
I
to.
was
But
wondering how
interesting thing about that is there have been, and this is the part that I don't think America really wants to discuss, and it's hard for us to accept this, what I'm about to say. Wherever there were slaves, or the enslaved or the captured, there were also free people. So before race really predominated, we were the people driving the boats. We captured our folks, we sold folks, and it were the Moors who gave Columbus the maps, and the animals that I have on my farm are really from North Africa. They were on the boats. They came with us, so it's hard. There were free towns side by side, every area that had slaves, and slaves would go to these free towns and come back, and the free people would do business in town and then go back. There's maroon societies everywhere. It's slavery. The system is a lot more complicated than what America tells us. So yeah, we've been free here as long as we've been enslaved here. Just they want to talk more about the enslavement because they don't. We killed a lot of them when we were free. They don't want to hear about that part of
Mm, wow.
it. And a hush goes over.
No, I know about the Moors. They founded Spain, and a lot of the Spanish language that's used today was founded by Moors. But Moors were primarily, they were not Christian; they were
Muslim.
Muslim.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I mean, you know, so I mean, Africa is a huge continent. There's so many of us. So you know, it's a lot of stuff that goes on that we don't know. But as far as my lineage, I do believe that I am. Um, I'm in that mix that came out of Jerusalem that Titus sent, and we went wandering in Africa and settled in this Negro land, and that's why I'm here. So that's what I believe my lineage is.
Is Negro land is Negro land.
And if you can't, just put it in Google. You should be able to find. It's an old map, but if you can't, you can always go to my website because I made sure to keep it because I got it from a professor at Princeton. I think it was. It's an old map, and you're not going to see it on any current map. But it's actually a map, and it was called Negro land, and it's in West Africa.
Wow.
Yeah. And I do believe, honestly, that's where they got our type. That's why we are called Negroes.
And that's probably why we've been struggle between the Negro term,
Right.
African American, and
Right.
yeah. Wow.
Obama would, the former President Obama would be considered an African American. I mean, we're African, of course, because, but it's just like, I don't know. I've always struggled with that term myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You've got messages from him with Arthur Regina Curry. We're talking about her book, but we're also having I won't say a history lesson.
Well,
all kinds
it's a great lesson. I think I think that'd be a great topic for a show, Tashawn, so we can get into the history of languages.
Yeah.
And the word Niger and Negro and where it comes from.
Yeah. I really want to set that up because again, this is the basis of this show is to hear what we as Black men and Black women, we have to because we have so much and it's so much out here. I literally, for me, I can't grasp everything, but I know what my spirit feels, and I know some things that I've learned in as a child through with my family. It's like it's coming to now. It's like, oh, this is what they were talking about, or and we've been fed so much. If you have not been grounded from birth, you think about, I'm 48 and we've been fed so much misinformation. And then when somebody comes along with the correct information, you always question them. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
It's like, I don't know. She ain't, I don't know. He ain't, no, but it's
I get that all the time. I get it all the time.
It's right there.
I wouldn't question. I just would understand where the origin of the word comes from,
or
words come from.
Remember,
you understanding the Portuguese and what they needed. Portuguese didn't need Africans that were in the desert because where they were working, they had no use for the phenotype of the desert. They needed a phenotype from the area of West Africa. It was the same people, but if I'm in the sun all day in a tropical area, I'm going to do better if you take me to a tropical area versus if I'm in the desert. If they were planting in Arizona, they would have taken a bunch of people from Chad, from Egypt, from wherever else there was a similar climate. It's scientific. It's not, they weren't guessing. They knew what they were doing. The Portuguese, when they got started, they knew where they landed in the tropics, and they needed people who were already growing and doing the things like cotton and indigo. All that stuff was already going on in Africa. It was a business.
Yeah. Wow. Tressa wrote, many are focused, going back to what Regina, you were talking about with the preaching and teaching. Many are focused on prosperity speaking, preaching, teaching, and not so much on sound biblical doctrine.
Right.
And Shasta says sometimes people can be so heavenly minded until they are no earthly good. And,
getting high. People want to get high, and they're getting high off of church, cotton candy.
Yeah, social.
That's all it is.
It's a social thing too.
Yep.
It's a social thing. I've always been kind of outspoken in my family. Kind of like the oddball. Me and my youngest brother, but. I used to tell people, it's just like, it's a social thing. It's, what do you call it when you are, God, what is the word when you are addicted to having someone? What is it? Codependent.
Oh, yeah.
Codependency, and I used to tell my parents when I was a lot younger, like in my teens, early 20s, I would say, tell the people to stop calling the house. God doesn't live here. You start looking at the people, kind of look at the preachers as gods. It's totally misconstrued, this church thing. Totally. They would call my dad all hours of the morning, night, and everything, and it would just make me so angry. You know, it's
Misplaced
like,
power of faith.
right. I was like,
People
tell
put their
them
faith in
God
a man, right?
does not live here. They got to go to him. And you know, and my my parents, we would laugh about stuff like that, but I never got it. And so yeah, it's like they get into this church. It's a social thing. It's a place to go. The music, but it's like so many of those people have no idea who God is. None.
I think I'm not sure if we were. I was having this discussion with somebody on a Facebook discussion, and he asked me. He said, "I'm a pray Jesus for you," and I said, well, "Which one?" And he said, "What do you mean, which one?" I said, "The new Republican one, or the one that fought an insurrection in the streets of North Africa?" I said, "Against an anti-government insurrection. Which one you pray?" And racism and white supremacy are so strong, and they're in us, whether we want. It's died in our wool, black folks, that it pains us to say Jesus is African from North Africa. It's hard to say.
Well,
It
not
gives
for,
us pause.
not for,
It's still. I have to say it sometimes to remind myself of who and what. That yeah, this is where this comes from, and a lot of people who are looking to a preacher, looking to somebody to guide them, is because that system of enslavement where we are not capable of reaching out to God. And it goes back even to the high priest and the Levitical rule and all that stuff where I can't go in the Holy of Holies, but I can send somebody else in. But if you read in the Bible, that was supposed to have been changed. And if you look at any other religions where God is present, that is changed. So, and for us, it's hard to get past that 400 year. It's in our DNA.
Black people still believe there's white Jesus?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they. But I, like you said, I think it's more of an inferior. You know, I think that we blacks carry an inferior complex that does that. That
Bred
allows
into us.
it's bred into us. Yeah.
As tough as I may want to seem, I have to catch myself walking down the sidewalk. Well, I'm in the right of way. I get out of the way of white people. Then I have to remind myself, I'm in the right of way. Damn it! I don't need to get off the sidewalk. You can't walk on the other side of the sidewalk, and I move. And just like it's in us, it's in them to walk down the sidewalk. A 5'6" dude. I'm 230 pounds, 6 foot, ex-football player. You gonna move me with your mind, and it works.
Yeah, you're right.
And we will get out of the way.
Yeah, you're right.
Except, and then you had to condition yourself that you are equal.
You're right.
And that's what white Jesus does.
We do. We have
yes,
to
we do.
Yeah,
you're right. You have to redo it. You have to reaffirm it.
Yeah, that happened to me last week. I was walking, and these white women were walking, and you're right. I automatically started thinking, oh, let me move to the other side. And I thought about it. I said, wait a minute.
That's the only way you live. Because if you didn't do that, you would have died. So they kept breeding us
but you know,
to be subservient. Unless you got some maroon blood in you.
I kept walking on that side. I was like, hey, I ain't moving. They got to move.
Right. Yeah.
And it's stunning.
But you're right. You're so right about that. I never thought about it like that, but we are conditioned.
And so are they. That's why the Karens respond like, oh, well, what do you mean I can't call you nigger?
Yeah.
Right. So it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate on both parts. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow. So Regina, did you always was this writing? I know you mentioned, was writing your first love growing up?
Singing. Music is singing was my first love, and music I think is my first love. But writing, I've always been a writer, always, even before I knew that writing was you could have it as a profession. Yeah.
Do you play piano?
No, I sing. I sing. I come from a singing family, and so I sang for a long time. I even went to this Duke Ellington here in DC. It's the School of the Arts. That's where I graduated from and stuff. But I've never been that in front of the camera person like my family. My family they're just show people. But
As an
But
artist, I gotta ask, going to Howard, how was it being in a room where Herbie Hancock and Donny Hathaway composed music? How did you go to
Yeah.
the music room at Howard?
no, my major at Howard was radio, television, and film, and my minor was Spanish. Yeah, so
Oh,
I didn't go to Howard for music. After Duke Ellington, I was just like, you know what?
yeah, my major was radio, TV too.
Yeah, so radio, television, and film was where I was. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, yeah.
HBCU in the house.
Hmm.
Oh,
So how do I find the book? Because I googled you, but how do I order the book? And is it a I do a lot of audio books because of the nature of my job, moving my
Okay.
hands and being dirty. Is it on Audible?
It is not. It is not. I don't think it is Audible. It's but you can definitely download it as a uh on Kindle, and you can get it at my website, which is www.pearlppd.com. And if you would like, you can get it on Amazon.
You say
Okay.
Pearl PD?
Yes, Pearl PPD, like an Pearl Productions Publishing and Distribution, ppd.com. That's my website. You can order it there. You can order a physical copy or the download there. And if you want to get it from Amazon, you can also get it off of Amazon. It's on Amazon as well.
Wow. That is. I am definitely going to order. Before we wrap up, this has been phenomenal. I've learned so much today, and a lot has been confirmed.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah, it's always great when you get the confirmation to say, you know what, I am going in the right direction, or and because you do want to. Ultimately, for me, everything I do, it's for the glory of God. It's even with the show, like I say, it's faith based, but I want to represent him. And as Tia was saying, our people have to go through an unlearning stage to detox from religion. And I remember officially detoxing from religion a few years ago. And oh my God, it was such a journey because people did not understand me. They did not, Trinette, you're going to hell, this, that, another. You don't denounce.
That's the one.
And I was like, I'm not denouncing Jesus. I'm not denouncing God. I'm denouncing religion, because religion had me twisted, and not to. I didn't bash anybody. I didn't bash any churches because I belong to a good church right now. I love my church home.
I did that
I love
for
my
you.
pastor. What'd you say?
I did that for you. I bashed some people.
Yeah, look at you. But I am thankful and so thankful to God that I'm under good leadership that does not feed me what I want to hear.
Right.
So but when I started denouncing, when I started detoxing from religion, my world, it was like God was like, here you are. This is what I've been, coming back from what my parents taught me. Everything started being confirmed. It's like, oh wow.
Wow.
Listening to you today, I'm in awe, and I'm just that believer that God does not connect you without a purpose. There's always a purpose for everything. And one of my prayers when I entered this project was to make it purposeful, just it has a purpose and so forth. So I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm definitely going to get it. Before we leave out, in the times that we're in now, how are you preserving your self-care as a Christian, Arthur, as a Christian? How are you preserving yourself with self-care and self-love? And is there, are you up in arms with everything that's going on with the election coming up, with just 2020? I always tell people 2020 is still good in spite of everything that's going on. I don't, I believe words have power. And if we keep speaking 2020 is this, and that, guess what? It's going to be that if you continue. So how are you doing in this time, in these times?
it's strange. First, I want to say this has been a confirmation for me too. That's why I'm just agreeing with you, because sometimes I need to hear people who understand, and so for you saying it's a confirmation, it's been a confirmation for me. So I think that's great, because that's how God works.
Yes.
As far as 2020, I like I said, I've kind of seen this coming for a while. I just did not believe it would be here so fast. And it's moving fast. You know what I mean? I didn't believe it would be here so fast. And so it's not much I can do. It's like I told God, I was praying the other night, and I'm like, well, God, what do I pray? Because you already said it's going to happen. So it's just like, I gotta hold on and pray. And I asked Jesus to pray that my faith doesn't fail. So that's what we should be praying at this time. Because we've only seen the tip of the iceberg, guys. I do believe it's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, Miss Curry, how's your garden?
It's growing. I don't know how
what you got?
outside, but I'm holding on to his everlasting arm. I don't have a garden yet, because I'm still kind of concerned about the seed. And so again,
I'll hopefully I can alleviate any concern there. So once you plant that seed is going to grow based on the environment that you put it in.
right.
So it doesn't matter where that seed comes from. Don't listen to these people talking about GMOs. I'm GMO. You're GMO. We're all growth modified. Once you plant that seed, whatever is in that seed is going to come out, and it's going to reproduce a fruit. That fruit's going to reproduce with seed. You can eat the fruit if you want, or you can plant the seed. One generation wipes out anything, and that plant is what it's supposed to be. That all this conversation about GMOs and Terminator genes in seeds, that is just the production of it. We did a test here on our farm. We took some Monsanto corn, and it took us maybe 3 cycles to get it to grow normal, and it grows. So the seed is the seed. You can't stop God.
But no, the seed is not the seed. I'm telling you, it's not
still a
God's
seed.
natural seed, but he has a seed that has not been altered, period. The seeds out here, I'm telling you, from the FDA, the seeds have been altered.
Right.
So
they always go back to their base. It goes back, you're aware, it's going to go back to a mitochondrial level. The seed, once you put it in the dirt, it's going to fight to go back to its natural state.
Right, but
let it grow.
You got to have a good.
Yeah, you got to have. I mean,
you got to have a good soil. So
yeah.
Your farm you're rare. You're very rare. So I need to get some.
You've got good soil all around you. It's just you got to know how to make it. So take some leaves. This is how easy it is. This is how amazing the system that God made us. Take a piece of cardboard, stick some leaves under it, let it sit there until the cardboard breaks down. You got good soil.
Okay.
That's simple. And you don't have to till it. You can plant. You should be able to take your finger and poke down in it, and you can plant right in that soil. Okay. But the key is what they're doing is scaring people so that they're not planting. That means you have to depend on them to buy food. Plant it. I don't care what it is. Go to Home Depot, whatever they got on the shelf, plant it. Keep the seeds, replant them. And a season or two, you got your own seed.
Right. Well, that's what Jonathan is going to do in the mission that he's on. They're going to find.
I bought the book. I can't wait.
There is a place where the government is keeping all of God's natural seeds.
Yeah, that's true.
I said yes.
There's a vault in a salt mine. Yeah, that's true. That's a fact.
Kai said, "Wow, I didn't know that. When you can reverse the seeds, didn't know that."
No, I didn't know that. I don't think you better check that out, because from FDA, from what I understand, once you change the seed, it cannot be reversed. Yeah, it cannot be reversed.
It's just like how do I explain this? Like somebody who, say I'm 7 foot tall and my wife is 7 foot tall and we love basketball, but we give up our child for adoption and he's raised by goat herders. That child is going to find a reason to throw something through a hoop, or he's going to find a reason to move a certain way because it's encoded in his DNA. Nothing you do can change that. You can make him whatever you want. You can do surgery on him, stunt his growth. He's going to still, his kids are going to have that DNA. Same thing with seeds. Seeds are encoded with DNA. They're going to try to make a change to a segment. They can't change his DNA. So when it grows and it has fruit, it can only replicate itself. It can't replicate the modification because the modification is not encoded in its DNA. To grow the
Sandra
seed.
Muhammad said Aaron Neville's wife talks about heirloom seeds, Freeville Farm, LLC.
Seeds is a great conversation, but there's so much misinformation about seeds and propagating seeds and understanding how to grow stuff. There's a lot. It just keeps people from growing, and that's just really what they want because they don't want their industry to be messed up.
Yeah. So we're gonna
grow it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to bring you back, Regina and Farmer Wayne. Seriously, that's why I'm taking notes for us to create a show on this, because again, this is something that we as people and God's people really need to be enlightened and educated and start. I believe that we can always start. It's never too late to start. But this is something that these are topics in the discussion that we need to have. But before we leave, because we're wrapping up, y'all, I love it when we have these good conversations.
Fast show. This is a fast show.
I don't want to stop. But Regina, tell us how we can support you and where.
Just go to my website, pick up the book. You can download it, or if you want a physical copy, you can get that too. And it's www.pearl, PEARL, PPD, Pearl. So the website up there is wrong, guys.
Oh, okay.
And thank you for buying the book. Thank you. So yeah,
you see I bought it already.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I'm excited.
I want to hear your feedback.
Oh, I'm gonna share it. I ain't shy.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Say it again for me, Regina.
PEARL. Like the pearl. PPD.com. You're just missing the L.
Oh, okay.
Come on now.
I know I did have my eyes in them yesterday. I got to get my new prescription, y'all.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So I got to ask, were you at Howard with Puffy?
I was during that time. Yep. He was, I used to see him. Yeah. But he was not, he wasn't there long.
He's only there for a year or so?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I sure was. I was there.
Yeah, it's a great time. We were at Morris Brown in 91.
Yeah.
Okay.
95. Yeah. Okay. So it's a great time to be at HBCU.
Yeah. I was also at Duke Ellington with, what's the guy's name? Lamont Rucker. You guys know who that is? Yeah. He was at Ellington with me. Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting.
Yeah. That's awesome. Farmer Wayne, what you got coming up?
What do I have this week? We are going to go see a dog. I got to get a replacement dog, so I'm going to go see a dog because my dog died. Other than that, man, I'm buying cows because I don't have as many cows here because we're downsizing. Okay. Y'all pray for your boy on this deal for that big acreage we talked about. They got like layers and layers of people they want me to talk to. Swanson Family Farm, LLC.com. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Swanson Family Farm. My nephew is handling all the merchandise, and I think he has a new client that's doing some hats for him. So we'll see how that goes. I bought the hats though. Yeah, I got you. So we're just excited about everything that's going on, man. I'm excited to see the turns. I'm excited when everything doesn't go my way, because that means I got to dig in and fight a little bit harder the next time. So I'm just excited to be in the number.
Amen.
I'm excited for you all. And Regina, I'm excited for you. I'm excited. I'm excited for Farmer Wayne. DJ,
everybody.
What y'all got going on?
We continue to work on the homecoming for Morris Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the flyer.
Yes.
Yeah, super dope. Thank you. That's
nice.
Although I got a Fort Valley shirt on today.
Yes.
Yeah. October 24th is going down. Virtual homecoming for Morris Brown.
Yeah.
And then of course accreditation is according to Dr. James
any
day now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know us as alumni, we are excited. I actually on got a little special going for homecoming day. I am actually going to put it out there
Come
for
on now.
Let's go.
on the website or whatnot. But you all can go to my website. I am TrinetteLCollier.com. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube as well. But on homecoming day, Brown Nights, this will be your chance to get your 5-minute pitch in. I'm going to allow you to do some free advertisement on my show just for Brown Night entrepreneurs. Just for the Morris Brown entrepreneurs, because there's a whole lot of us out there. Because that's what we've learned how to do. HBCU, you know what I'm saying? So on that day, the 24th, doing my show, you've got mail messages from him with Tashawn and friends. You will be allowed, but now the thing is, you got to call in. And you got to go and subscribe to the page and all of that. But you only have 5 minutes to pitch us.
Oh, yeah. Farmer Wayne is going to have Chip call in.
Yeah. You got to call in and you got to tell us about your business, but you only have 5 minutes, though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about.
That's dope.
That's what it's all about.
Shouts,
you know?
Shouts to you for that.
Yeah. You know, so, hey, Ghost, is that okay with you? Regina, they always getting on me about free advertisement and what. I'm only doing it for that show, just for that homecoming. Only Brown Nights. Only Brown Nights for that day, for those 2 hours. I ain't giving away nothing. Just for them 2 hours, 5 minutes.
That's it.
And usually that's a value of what? Advertisement on the radio, on the hottest.
A good dollar amount.
Yeah, that's a good dollar amount. Yeah.
Wow.
5 minutes, 30 seconds is a good dollar amount.
Yeah. So, you know, y'all better come with it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
That's right.
Because I didn't change. I'm Tashawn now.
A whole different level.
A whole different level. I got cups. I got merchandise.
That's right.
I'm investing.
I like that kind of carrying
I'm
on.
investing. I got intro music.
Intro.
My husband's like, what you getting now? Are we eating this? No, we're about to get this garden started.
Right.
With Regina.
Get your gardens. Even if you plant in a pot, plant something.
Yeah. He got, you know, he got some stuff because you know he's a chef and he's going green, so he got some stuff in the pot on the balcony. He had his little peppers and whatnot. So you know, we got to make some cuts. So
I love y'all and would never steer you wrong. When I tell you, I don't care what you plant, just plant something.
Right.
Okay.
You know, you are our consultant, so we got you. But Regina, I am so elated. I'm so thankful that you came on the show. I thank you.
Yeah.
Olivia, my girl, my Brown Night. I thank you so much. I love Olivia.
Good.
But I love what you're doing. Continue to
Thank
do
you.
it. Operate in God's holiness.
So I'm sorry, you connected to Olivia too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her client.
So you know Olivia did the first commercial that sent my farm off like a rocket for us.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
And she did my commercial for my book, and that put me out there.
Look at
So-
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to have her on the show.
She
Right.
won't come, though.
Oh,
I've
for
asked
real?
Right.
I'm going to call her when I get off the phone.
Yeah, call it. She's that behind the genuine, humble, behind the scenes type of person.
Most creatives are like that.
Yeah,
Most creatives
she
like
she
that.
don't want the accolades and all
Yeah,
of that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that girl is genius. I love her.
I told her she has a deep, sultry voice. I told her I want her, when I write an autobiography, I want her to be my voiceover person.
Yes, that's so true. So true.
Yeah. So I am super excited for you, and any way that we can support you, you let us know.
Thank you.
You know, we got you. I love it. I'm like Farmer Wayne. I will be purchasing the book and so forth.
You.
And that goes for everybody up in here. Y'all know I support you. I love you. I thank you. And I thank y'all out there for tuning in to another episode.
Yes. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun.
Any last advice, piece of advice you can give us before we roll on out, Regina?
Just be kind and love. Do everything in love as best as you can. And I say that to me too, because sometimes I'm quick, but try and do everything in love.
Right.
And thank you so much for having me. This has been great. It's been a lot of confirmation for me as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I love that. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, until next week, you
Yeah.
guys. Next week. I will see you all. Y'all keep rocking out. HBCU in the house.
Hey.
Bryson.
Fort
Hey,
Dallas,
you?
Howard, NBC. Let's do this, y'all. It's homecoming season.
Saturday morning,
Yes.
listen in to Tishawn, she be
All
going
right, have a
in.
good one, guys. Thank
Black
you.
queen for us black kings. We can learn a thing or two when we're locked in. One of the few places we can be heard. Been a rocks with her, that's my word. The show is enlightening, engagement always enticing. I always come with an open mind, I'm never frightened. Guaranteed to walk away with minerals. Now that I'm thinking everything else is minuscule. We're the fools who don't protect black women. No argument, disrespect, and that's it. Y'all. Please come in peace when you call in. Cause the friends ain't no slouch, fair warning. You got mail messages from him. Y'all better listen if you wanna win. Wanna win in life, y'all. You wanna win in life. Tune in to Deshaun and Friends. You've got mail messages from him. Yeah. You've got mail messages from him. 10 a.m. to noon, Saturdays. Tune in. Yeah.